Hi everyone, hope we're doing well. I just wanted to make a quick video and let you know that part 2 of the Wintrov Angel is on schedule to come out next month in October. I'm not sure of the exact day yet. I'm thinking October 15th, somewhere around there. But everything's ready to go. I just have to do some final edits and get it uploaded onto Amazon's software thingy, and then it will be available for purchase. If you liked part 1, I think you're really going to like part 2. It's a little bit longer, not too much longer. There's one chapter in particular that I just couldn't trim down, so the whole part is probably about 120 pages or so, whereas part 1 was 94, 95 pages. And yeah, what can you expect in part 2? Well, we're going to get to know more about the Wintrov family. Part 1 was really setting up the Merrywell siblings, Lorelai, Katerina, and Adric, depicting the situation that they're in at the time, living with their parents having recently deceased, and all of that. And we met the 4 oldest Wintrov brothers in part 1. We're going to get to know more about them in part 2. We're also going to get to meet the other members of the Wintrov family who we haven't met yet. So there's 3 more brothers that were not at the Flood Rush Festival in Lorelai's home village in the previous part. So we're going to meet the 3 younger brothers. We're also going to meet the Baron and the Baroness. And I don't know, the Baron is one of my favorite characters to write. He's a little bit crazy. A little bit domineering and imposing. He's just like this grumpy patriarch of the Wintrov family. So I hope you get a kick out of seeing the Merrywell siblings meeting him. You're also going to meet the Baroness. She's modeled to a little bit of an extent off of Lady Bertram from Mansfield Park, one of Jane Austen's novels. And so if you've read that book, you can kind of keep Lady Bertram in mind as you're reading her. She's not as good-hearted as Lady Bertram is, but a lot of her mannerisms are similar. We'll also meet one of the cousins of the Wintrov family, this guy that comes down from the capital named Ashley. And he's a fun character to write as well. And while I'm thinking about it, when you're reading Ashley's dialogue, he speaks in malapropisms. He fancies himself this very suave, sophisticated, educated young man, but he's not that bright. And so he tries to have all these formalities of speech and to be courteous and to dazzle and awe people with his wide range of knowledge, but he mispronounces words. He kind of makes up words when he can't think of the appropriate one that he wants as he's speaking. So no, you're not going crazy, and no, I didn't make like 50,000 typos in the text when you're reading Ashley's dialogue. He's just speaking gibberish sometimes. So I think you'll get a kick out of him. He's kind of the butt of a lot of jokes, at least early on in the book. He's a character whose temperament is going to change throughout the course of things, but at least in the beginning, he's kind of the butt of a lot of jokes. We'll also see the relationship between Lorelai and Darian developing more. If you remember from part 1, Darian obviously is in love with Lorelai. You know, there's an expectation that he's going to make a proposal to her, but Lorelai is ambivalent. She doesn't know how she feels about him yet. So in part 2, we're really going to get to see that relationship deepen. We're going to see some things that they have in common and what their relationship is like as they're working together and living together and all of that stuff. Part 2 is really kind of Darian-centric. We get to know a lot about him throughout these chapters that are coming up. And then we're also going to get war breaking out. So chapter 1 of part 1 had a battle where the Sadrians tried to invade the southern lands of Forsha. They were repelled, but all through part 1 there was talk about, are we going to go to war with these people or not? So part two is going to settle that question, and it's not so much of a spoiler because I think I indicated as much in part one that, yeah, war is going to happen. So we're going to see what that looks like. We're going to get to see the oldest Wintrov brothers go off to war. Adric is also going to go off to war. He's going to be serving as an aide in the army. And we're going to get to see what the march to the scene of battle looks like, the campaign march. That would be an interesting chapter. The war chapters in general are, hopefully they're good and entertaining, but they were really difficult to write because I have never been in a war and I don't really know what the daily routines and life in an army look like. And I did my research. I was mostly reading accounts of war from other novels that talk about these sorts of things. I went back and reread some chapters from The Lord of the Rings and The Ride of the Rohirrim and The Passing of the Grey Company, where Merry Brandybuck is going off to war with the Rohirrim. I reread some chapters from War and Peace, Leo Tolstoy's big novel. There's some pretty good battle chapters in that one. And I also read the very long and maybe unnecessary digression in Les Miserables, describing the Battle of Waterloo. If you haven't checked that out yet, you should. I think I've said on this channel before, but Les Mis is my favorite novel. A giant book, over 1,000 pages, and it's because the author, Victor Hugo, likes to go on these long digressions about things, and the Battle of Waterloo was one of them. One of the more interesting digressions, actually, because there was another time where he spent like 30 pages talking about the sewers in Paris, and he'll just talk about everything. So I prepped for writing the battle chapters by reading works like that. But the exact situation is a little bit different in the Wintrov Angel, so I'm curious to see how it reads. I'll definitely appreciate any feedback that anybody can give me on that. Maybe somebody who does like military history or who's been in the military and could tell me what seems probable, or where, if I have something happen, you could say like, oh no, they would never do that. Why would a general do that? That sort of thing. So part two of the Wintrov Angel is coming up soon. Be looking forward to that. If you haven't read it already, you can get part one of the Wintrov Angel. It's up on Amazon. You can get it as a paperback or you can get it as an ebook. And I'm really grateful for the feedback that I've gotten on part one from people who've bought the book, from the live stream discussion that we had a month or so ago about part one. And I am taking all the feedback into consideration because when all 10 parts of the novel are released and I go back through and start tweaking things for the final definitive copy that'll come out, I will certainly try to keep in mind some of the advice that I've gotten, some suggestions that I've gotten. So, yeah, that's about it. I think I'm going to make one or two more videos about part two before it comes out, but yep, just keep an eye out for it. Thanks, guys.